Shirou Emiya, everyone's favorite hero of justice. And it's on this marvelous day of days that we all come together as a community to celebrate him, what he represents, and his achievements. And so what better way to honor him but talk about him getting cut?
Finally, I'm almost done with this sword. All that's left to do now is work out the kinks.
I like NTR.
Shut up!
Now, before you go down in the comments and write whatever comment you're gonna write, allow me to explain myself. I like the art. That's the entire impetus of why I'm making this video. And the fact that I'm posting it on Shirou Day is nothing more than a massive troll. But aside from that, let's get into the first one. Can't believe I'm saying this. Tosaka Rin has cheating sex with Shinji. Now, you might be wondering why I'm starting with this one, if you know anything about this series at all. Which, if you do, why? I'm a fan of Ankomon. Are you also? Irregardless of that. So the reason I'm starting with this one in particular is because, according to the most viable source of information, and hentai, according to the compilation that I am using for this video, Heroines Cheating Sex, this one is the first one coming in chronological order. So let's just go ahead and jump into it, shall we? We enter in meteor rest with Rin cleaning herself as she gets a call from Shirou. They make plans and Rin gathers herself as she moves towards the shower. We cut back in with her drying her hair as Shinji barges in, and our boy isn't done. Well, they haven't tried for a baby is how I'll put it. As Rin tries to refuse, Shinji finger blasts her, and she, well, accepts this. You know, at this point, she just wants to make it quick. They make out with the sex and all that, a few times actually. And Shinji makes Rin say some things, as you can see on the screen. And things eventually devolve as Shinji calls Shirou to let him know Tosaka will be late. Welcome back. That was an experience, wasn't it? As I have already said, I absolutely adore the art in this series. I mean, look at some of these panels. Like, this one is great. This one, fantastic. They both speak to me. What? Are you concerned at this point? We are this far into this video already, and now you decide to be concerned about my mental being? Whatever. Look, we're already in here for the long haul. If you haven't clicked off already, honestly, I should be the one that is concerned for your mental well-being. But anyways, let's just get into the next one. It's the Saber one. Saber part 1. Let's go. So we begin post-sex with Saber on the phone with Shirou about dinner, and after she finishes her call and gets ready to leave, Shinji insinuates that neither of them are finished, yoinks her phone, and then dials Shirou. Saber regains her phone, and Shinji begins to, well, make with the baby making with her, whilst Shirou is on the other end of the phone. Look, you saw this coming. It's an NTR doujin. Let's just move on. The following scene, honestly, is just kind of meh. And when they finish, we see that Saber chastises Shinji, saying that he knows that she doesn't like it when he does stuff like that. Well, I mean, they still continue on regardless. Shinji compares Saber to Rin, and this is where my personal confusion with the order of events is. Saber, confused, asked when he and Rin began a relationship like that, even though in the last one, we saw Shinji tell Rin to remind Saber to come over, but well, regardless of that, we end this installment with one of my personal favorite panels in the series. This one. Pretty sweet, right? So if it wasn't already apparent, this one of the first two just is my favorite. It helps that Saber is my favorite of the three heroines. I just think that she is the most attractive looking. Also, there is just something with the way Ankomon draws Saber that absolutely hits me in all the correct ways. And if you are concerned about that fact, I would like you to try to do summary and analysis on doujinshi and see how that comes about after the fact. Well, regardless of that, this one is just, it's fantastic. It's great. It's, the faces, top tier. The plot, I guess, take it or leave it, I guess. But aside from that, you might be wondering, this is called Heroines Cheating Sex. Where's Sakura? We'll get to her. Trust me. But that won't be until after this next one. Presenting... Well, it's the first of the threesome ones. It's Rin, it's Saber, it's Shinji. Let's get into it. Opening up, we see Rin and Shinji are already going at it as Saber enters the frame. Saber points out a condom hanging out of Rin as she gets pissed at Shinji for not telling her that it's there. Saber gets ready, and then we cut to them giving Shinji a double blowjob with this absurdly good panel. After completing, both Saber and Rin tried to get Shinji to do either of them first, saying that she should go first since Rin and him were already going at it long before she got there, and Rin wanted to go first because she's asking nicely. No, seriously. That's the entire reason. Look at this. Anyhow, Saber gets to go first whilst Shinji plays with Rin, then he switches, doing the same to Saber. They continue on with Saber going unconscious for a second, and by a second I mean like this specific panel right here, and when she returns to consciousness, we are gifted with these godly 2 pages, as we finish with them cleaning up Shinji while he tells them to, well, lay off the contraceptive magic, which is not me doing a euphemism. That is a line in the doujin, right here. Oh boy, yeah, that one is just my absolute favorite in the series. Just like hands down, it's my favorite one. Now, if that, once again, for the 3rd time in a row, worries you, this is an actual H manga. I own H manga. You should not be worried that this is what I decide to do with my time on this planet. Also, yes, that entire bit is the reason why I'm using this as the backdrop. And if that hurts you in any way, fuck you. We're here talking about doujinshi. Yes, I own H manga, but yeah, God, the art in this one, it just keeps getting better. The art just keeps getting better, and it's great, and I don't know what else to say. I'm just rambling at this point. Let's move on to the next one, which is... Oh God, it's the Sakura one. Presenting Sakura Matou takes care of Shinji. Really quickly though, an important note before we move on to the next few. The next few do just kind of like blend into each other, so we're just gonna talk about them in groups of 2 to 3, except for this Sakura one, because the Sakura one is basically standalone as is. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that in the last clip. Okay, so first off, I know to some people this is going to get a bit off-putting. So anytime we discuss Sakura, I'll warn, and I'll put a timestamp such as this one. So go ahead and skip here to move on to the next set in the series. Stay safe, have fun. Okay, so the next one before we return to Saber and Rin's misadventures is about Sakura, and is titled Mato Sakura Shinji no Sewa o Suru, or Sakura Matou taking care of Shinji. So, we'll begin in the bathroom as we see Shinji taking care of both Saber and Rin, possibly immediately after the last installment. Sakura enters the bathroom wondering if everyone is alright and looking for Rin, as Shinji exits the shower. Here we go. Shinji then uses this opportunity to requisition her body, and they proceed to do the sex. Saber does in fact join, and then Shinji proceeds to use her as a human seat as Sakura cleans off Shinji. And that's really all I want to say about this one. Let's just move back to Saber and Rin. Oh boy, that was something, wasn't it? I'm not going to mention anything else about that, like I just said in the prior clip. So let's just go ahead and go to the next few. Presenting Saber 2, followed by Rin 2. Woo! From this point onwards, the NTR stuff does get a bit more apparent, which becomes absolutely clear from the first panel of this doujin, where we see a pantsless Rin keeping Shirou at the edge of a doorframe, covering for both Shinji and Saber as they are getting busy. Not too far away. More than likely only a handful of feet away, actually, now that I think about it. Rin uses the excuse of the two of them training and that she can hand off a package that Shirou's here to deliver to them, and he could just be on his way, you know? As this conversation continues, we cut back and forth from the entryway to where Saber and Shinji are getting it on. And, well, this half of the duology ends with the pairing finishing, and a small sound box can be seen as Rin sends Shirou away. As we pick up with the second half, we see Rin chewing out Shinji once again for sending her to deal with Shirou, as Saber and him continue on with their sex. Rin sends Saber home, saying that she will handle Shinji. This is literally happening as she is already undressing. Like, she doesn't even finish chewing Shinji out and she is already like tits out and everything. But yeah, Rin sends Saber home, saying that she will handle him and have Saber try to cover and deal with Shirou, as there's an entire mess going on right now. Fun Rin panels, and that's the end of this two-parter. It's really fun in the weird way. It's good art. Look, we're here. I've said this at the beginning. We're here because of the art. So that was a bit more explicit with the NTR themes, wasn't it? Yeah. I hope at this point it shows, like, the art speaks for itself as to why I wanted to talk about this work. I'm not gonna call it a work of art, even though it is a work of art. It is, by pure technicality, a work of art. But, you know, the context of that, the art's so good, dude. Like, the way that Ankaman is just able to portray these girls in these situations, if you disregard the actual situations themselves, it's really, really good, in my opinion, at least. Like, it's cool. I think it looks good, and you know what? It's made for a purpose. You all know why that purpose is here. It's peak. It's so peak. It's just peak. It's peak. It's really peak. I don't know what else to call it. Speaking of peak, let's move on to the next set, focusing heavily on the peakest of girls, Saber, presenting Saber 3, Rin and Saber 2. And does that say Rin? No, not Rin. My bad. Does that say Saber and Shinji take a bath? What? The premise of this next one is very, very, very simple. Saber and Shinji have sex outside the dojo. Saber is apprehensive at first, then she gets into it. And that's basically everything in this one. Moving on to the next entry, we see that they've taken their party to the Emiya household washroom as Jin enters, wanting to tell him that dinner is ready. She sees that the two of them are doing unspeakable things in the Emiya household of all places, and Shinji tries to coax Rin into joining them. She at first wants nothing to do with it, and then of course she eventually comes around. As they get busy, we get this great Saber face, and once again, allow me to just say, God, do the faces here hit. Shinji makes with the plowing, and by the end, Shinji shoos Rin off as he and Saber go to take a bath. Finally, in this trilogy of a set, we have the one where Shinji and Saber take a bath. That's it. That's literally the whole installment. They fuck in the bath. But hey, one of these shots, which are another one of my personal favorites. Hey, welcome back. We are in the home stretch now. Final two that I want to talk about. That was something. That really was something. I can't believe we've already been here for... Oh, we've been here for that long already? With me just talking about a doujinshi series? What is going on with my life, bro? Okay, well, before we continue, let's take a second to digest everything that we've been through so far. Alright, enough of that. Let's move on to the next one. Woo! Okay, so before we get into the last of the entries I want to talk about, we gotta talk about Medusa. So, Medusa and Shinji have sex. Yeah, legit, that's basically all of it. Like, Shinji can't get a hold of Rin or Saber, so he just fucks Medusa. And, look, I don't want to discuss timeline things, or when or where this would even take place, it just does. Go pester Keith if you want to try to dissect the Shinji NTR route. Okay, but with that, we have finally come to the final part of the compilation. And oh fuck, why is it another Sakura one? Alright, you know the drill. Skip here for my final thoughts on the compilation to get around all the Sakura stuff. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so it's a threesome between Shinji, Medusa, and Sakura in her dark mode. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, neither do I, as I have not watched nor read Heaven's Feel. So we're all going into this with the exact same amount of knowledge. So, the general gist of this one is Shinji wanted to have a threesome with Rin and Sakura, but Rin was unavailable for some reason, so he once again called in Medusa. We get this fun shot despite me not liking the context of it, and this pass off between the two that is basically the exact same shot as from the first Rin Saber threesome. But let's not dwell on this one too much. Incest ain't really my thing, so despite this being the last one in the larger compilation, I'm not giving this any fanfare. We are done here. Take me back to the live action. We did it. We made it to the end. This was a journey, to say the least, but it's done. However, some of you might be aware that there are a couple more that I could talk about. And my only response to that is, do you want me to keep talking about this? No, seriously, do you want me to? Because we've already gone this far, and I have spent this amount of time of my life talking about doujinshi, about Shinji Matou NTRing Shirou Emiya. Look, I'm gonna be frank here. The only reason that I'm not talking about those other two, well, 3, now that I think about it, is that the original compilation that I'm using does not include these ones. For all I know, as soon as I hit publish on this video, they will be added to them. And you know what? Then we'll make an addendum to this video next year. That out of the way though, legitimately speaking, I really do like and enjoy this series of doujinshi. For the art, NTR isn't really my cup of tea. NTR isn't a lot of people's cup of tea. Unless your name is exactly Sidsnap. And God, I love her content. She's a massive inspiration for why I'm even doing a video like this in the first place. But, dear Lord, do I not share like half the interests of that woman? She is a bigger freak than I will ever be. But, yeah, no. I love this doujin series. God, man, the art, like I've been saying throughout this entire thing, the art is great, and I love every single part of it. Defenseless anus and all. God, that was so forced. I'm bad at my job. So yeah, that was a video. This last little text crawl credits thing is literally just so I have a backdrop to say thank you so much for watching this fucking shitpost of a video. This, honestly, I had a blast making this, and if you're this far, if you made it to the end, I thank you so much for putting up with this garbage. Happy Shiro Day, everyone.